I find stuff that's been, it just never got the attention. It could be some little corner of the business, and that little corner can, cause a massive issue that needs attention.
Hey everybody, it's Brandon Dawson. Welcome back to another episode of the B. Dawson Show, where I interview entrepreneurs and business owners that we've been helping grow and scale their business. And I'm really excited to have some good friends here. Why don't you guys introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do?
My name is Bridget Decker, and we own a medically integrated clinic, and I'm the executive director.
My name's Lloyd Decker, and co-founder, president of Reno Regenerative Medicine, and psyched to be here with Brandon because we've known Brandon since he started this company.
Yeah, it's crazy. We were just talking about this offset that I met you guys right after I partnered with Grant Cardone. And it was before we partnered with AMI. In fact, it was when we were having the concept of partnering with AMI, and I met you guys as the first kind of group of people in that group.
Yes.
It was awesome. I think it was Buck's third day on the job, and
there was 4 employees.
Yeah,
me, Natalie, Buck, and Heather.
Yeah, and you got up there and you gave the walnut story, and we saw this map, and we saw this big circle around Nevada, and like, that's going to be us. That's what, and we're in.
And how crazy is it? I mean, people ask, how fast can you change things, right? And if you think about it, that was my first presentation to the AMI group. We hadn't even finalized a partnership. And that was my first 5 or 6 months as partners with Grant Cardone. So it was at the very beginning. So when we think about what's happened with Cardone Ventures, what's happened with AMI, and what's happening with you, it's like you guys, it's like a trifecta.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy how fast things can happen.
I thought what was cool is when you did your pitch to us, right? And we're all like, yeah, let's do this. And you're like, yeah, I think we can get it together in the next 2 years. And we were like, what? 2 years? We want it now. And then you guys went in the back room of the restaurant, and you're like, I don't know, like scheming, coordinating, how can we do this sooner? And you came out, and it's like, okay, we're going to do this. And I was like, all right.
Isn't it crazy? And we already have in our equity model, with our AMI partnership, business owners like you guys, we've already got, I think, 30 or 35. It took me 5 years at Audigy to get 35 equity partners.
Oh, wow.
They're already at AMI.
Wow.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Let's talk a little bit about your guys' business. So when we met at the end of 19, what were your revenues in 19?
In 2019, we did about $3 million in revenue in one location.
One location. And then we started working together, and in 2020, what'd you guys do?
We did
$5 million.
Yeah, $5 million, and that was obviously during COVID. We had, I feel like March, we took a pretty big hit.
March and April.
Yeah,
that's where we got close because you guys were on all my channels. We were like, you guys were like, we were talking on a regular basis.
Yeah, and the channels, you guys just started those because you guys couldn't see people anymore.
Yep.
And it was incredible. I mean, those first Owners Lives and roundtables were so helpful because everybody was just freaked out. And I remember Mike Halloran telling me to like just pull all your credit so you can have as much cash on hand.
Which we did.
Yeah.
Which we did.
Maxed out all the credit cards.
Yeah,
signed all the super checks over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like anybody that would give us money, we just
PPP
took it
loans.
and put it in the bank and
Yep.
and just ready for whatever was going to happen because
And
nobody
we had
knew.
some of our biggest months ever. Right
Yeah.
after.
Well, isn't that crazy? But what happened, I think, with a certain group of business owners, especially those that really plugged in, is like, let's get focused. I put out the emergency business response, what to do in an emergency or crisis. And we all just basically followed that together. Mm-hmm. And then the idea was, don't create a condition that shuts you down. Watch the key performance indicators every day. If all of a sudden patients stop coming in, if money stops coming in, then you start slowing things down. But if it keeps going or gets bigger, you lean into it. And we found very quickly that group of business owners that, for those of you that were forward thinking and pressing, your business was actually growing. thank God, a lot of your competitors shut down.
It's true.
Yeah, they did. And,
Yep.
we had plan A, plan B, and plan
I was
C.
just going to talk about this.
And plan C it was like 4 of us going to
It
be
was
running
ugly.
the office.
Plan C was
you
ugly.
didn't want to see plan C. But we didn't even have to go to plan B. And we were able to, Bridget was able to adjust the marketing and just get it firing on things that were working, like TV and things like that, because everybody was home watching TV. And we were able to help a lot of people in that time.
So boom, one location, 3 million all the way. And I think it's funny because everyone I talk to in business, almost everyone, prefaces, well, COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Most of our business owners had explosive growth during COVID. And you know a lot of those people. And so I think for a lot of people, when they say that to me, I feel like, oh, you're just setting up this excuse for backing off versus leaning in. And you guys, you leaned in, you popped from 3 million to 5 million in a year. And now we're going to end 2021, 2 years later after we met. And what are you going to do this year?
We're on pace for 6.2.
6.2 million. So in basically 24 months, you doubled the size of the business.
And we just opened clinic number 2 weeks ago.
You just opened. That's funny because remember, back when we started talking about expansion, we're like, scale before go to scaling. Maximize what you have before you add locations. And you guys were very disciplined about that because you were chomping at the bit for a couple different locations. I think if we let you go crazy, you probably would have got like 10 of them.
Yeah, in like 8 states.
In 8 states, yeah. Pretty funny. But you stayed disciplined and you created the cash resources. And now you're opening your next center and you've been able to invest in your personnel, invest in the build out, invest in the startup costs. And you've been able to do that out of reserves and cash flow that you're generating in your current business. How good does that feel?
I mean, it feels great. My favorite part about it is that, we did this ourselves. And, we didn't have to take on partners that were going to kind of sway us from what we wanted to do. But we
almost went there.
We almost went
there.
That
was another area where we
yeah.
we had to pull the reins back on you a bit with our advice.
Yeah. We have a big thank you to you on that regard.
Yeah. But I something happened the other day. Was it yesterday? No, we were driving yesterday. 2 days ago. We had a huge day. And I was sitting there talking with the providers. They wanted to know what we did. I told them what we did. And she looked at me. She was like, wow, you guys have created something so special. And that was just like for the provider to see that and to know that. And I was like, yeah, we have.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. And you guys are a great team working together. As you know, Natalie and I work together. We work with a lot of family businesses, a lot of spouses. You guys have evolved from clients to friends. We've spent private time together, been to Cabo together with masterminds. Every time we see you guys, we enjoy seeing you because you're winners. It's fun to hang out with winners. And I think we're aligned in how we think and view the world with many things. What's it like? What would you say to the people watching this that struggle working with their spouses? What's your guys' magic? Is it that he listens to whatever you tell him?
That's part of it.
It's that I'm the executive director.
Yeah, I mean, let's just be transparent. You need to put the right person in the CEO, executive director seat because we all know how that goes. And I think what we have developed is, I feel like we're so much better at this now is staying in our own lanes. It's like we're both on the org chart, and I don't mess with her business, and she doesn't mess with mine, and we work well together. We've been doing this for how long have we been working together for?
3 years.
Yeah,
3.5,
officially,
4
yeah.
years, maybe?
We had shared offices in the past but
now we have the marketer. Her office is in between our offices. Lloyd's like, I think we need a buffer. Can we put a couple people right here?
Yeah, so the head of marketing is in between us. So that's good.
So it's really important what you said, and this is Natalie and I learned this from Grant and Elena really, and that is to identify where our strengths are and then to have our individual goals, but also identify our collective goals and be always focused on making sure we're both focused on hitting our collective goals, then we can pursue our personal goals. And you guys have some big goals. Talk about where you want to see yourself in another 5 years.
Take it away.
5 years. in 5 years, I think we could have another 2 like regions. That would be, I think, our goal.
Yeah.
And within each region, I mean, where we're at now, we're going to have at least 3 clinics.
Yeah, and you'll be doing, by the time you get to 3, based on, because you guys went through the platform, you've been through all our programs,
Yep.
and the platform shows, and having that science was really important to you guys because you're like following the science. But the platform shows that you could be what, like 12 million or 15 million in the market you're in?
Yeah.
Now, I
20.
can't remember. 20 million.
20.
20.
That's with a great on the MOI
Yeah.
scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just feel like after learning from you over the past couple of years, you know, we're going to build this out. The platform's going to be built. And the next move, it's not going to be one clinic in another market.
Yep.
It's going to be
3.
a bunch of clinics in another market at
Yep.
the same time. Kind of like the work
So,
we do with Aaron.
so once you get this, you get your 3rd clinic, you get your 4th clinic. All of a sudden, now you're creating lots of resources. You know how to run multiple centers. By then, you're going to have infrastructure to support you, and then all of you can go open 3 or 4 or 5 more centers versus doing it one at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how you get big fast. But you don't get big fast just by doing it all at once and then having everything break.
Yeah.
You guys have been through almost all the programs that I do. The break points, we were talking about break points. What's it like for you to know you've got the platform, so it shows you how to get to 20 million or whatever, and it talks about the exact process to do that. But knowing in your mind these break points, 100,000 to 3 million, 3 to 6, 6 to 8. When you're working during the day and you're thinking about your strategy and your growth, how cool is it to actually structurally understand what's happening in your business? How helpful is it?
It's a relief. To me, it's a massive relief because we all know there's a lot of struggle, right? If you want to grow and do something big and awesome, there's a lot of struggle. And so it makes me know I'm at the right place and that others have been through this before and it's not just us. And we just have to keep hammering, keep moving forward, and we'll make it through.
Yeah. I just, in my mind, I think about the 2 areas in the break points that you talk about. You know, right now we're in the people and we're about to butt up to the process. Mm-hmm. So those are 2 things that I try and keep my focus on. It's like getting the people rock solid and start, you know, process documentation. That's like the next big step. So it's like once the people's rock solid, then it's going to process, and then they're both going to be, you know, built out, and that's going to get us just to level up from there.
And you guys made an investment in the platform to so you knew what those indicators were, and you were able to build out some process in advance of building process.
Well, yeah, there's some built, but as you know, like you teach us, it's like you can always get better at it, and you know, as you add layers to the business, there's going to need more. And there's stuff, you know, I find stuff that's been, it just never got the attention. You know, it could be some little corner of the business, and it's that little corner can, you know, cause a massive issue that needs attention, and that's kind of what we've been working through in the last month or 2, just in real life on the ground.
And you guys also been working, so we have collective partners, so we're partners through AMI. Grant Cardone and I partnered with AMI, Advanced Medical Integrated, right? And then you guys partnered using my equity model from Audigy with AMI. So we're all partners now. How cool is it that we went from client relationship in 24 months to actual uniting as partners in a strategy to create thousands of locations around the country and change healthcare and be able to actually impact the area that you guys are passionate about in healthcare? How cool. I mean, because we think 2 years ago, you guys are like, we want to do it now, but you fast forward 2 years, look how much we have done.
Yeah.
Sure have.
And in my wildest dreams, did I think I would be doing this stuff from my clinic when we started it years ago? No. Yeah. You know, and it's just...
Or sitting down with bankers when we...
This is a good story.
...considered getting a loan to buy a building. And, you know, he was sussing us out for our worthiness, and we just dropped the platform in his lap, and they were just like, whoa. They were like, where did you get this? Like, what is this? How much did this cost? Okay, clearly you guys are, like, serious, and you'll get the loan. I mean, they were just, and it was just a conversation, but I was like, it was a pretty cool experience.
They'd never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
I tell people, and you guys have heard me say it, that if you walk into somebody, a bank,
Yeah.
trying to get a loan, or if somebody's trying to buy you and you drop that platform off, they're going to look at you, their head's going to blow up, because businesses your size to have something like that done would spend $500,000 to $1 million if you could even get a McKinsey or a KPMG to want to go do it.
Even if you could know what it is.
And even if they could know what it is. But you guys managed to work with us and do that. And then you have the SBU working with you at AMI in real time. So not only do you have a platform to grow and scale your business with the key indicators and the strategy, but you also have a team that's working with you on the process, on the details, looking at the financials with you. What's it like to have like your own ecosystem that's just there to support you guys to achieve your goals?
Got to give a big shout out to Gabe in our SBU. He has helped us immensely in our own professional development and our team's professional development. So this is one of the coolest things I think about. We make a great hire and we want this person to be in leadership, and we tag them and they start helping us train them for those leadership roles. And it's like having our own executive team at our fingertips. And so when they're stepping into that role to take on more responsibility and add more value, they've already had the training and the communication, and they've already been working on their, professional development.
How does that we talk about attack speed, going from where you're at to where the opportunity is, that attack speed.
Oh, attack speed.
And the faster you can remove time out of the equation to going from where you're at to what that true opportunity is, the more value you create. And you guys are in that process right now. And now you're taking on a new challenge, which is trying to get through breakpoint 2, which taps out at 8 million, get into breakpoint 3, which is 8 to 15 million. And you're trying to do it as you're opening a new location. So you're giving yourself a lot of new challenges. But you have the sense of security that you know where you're going, right? You've got the plan. Talk a little bit about, for business owners that don't have that experience and they're like questioning, I wonder if I should work with this group, or I wonder if I should just keep doing it by myself. Talk a little bit about how fast you've been able to expedite your attack speed by having an infrastructure that exists to support and help you guys.
I think just knowing how it's supposed to look, because so many small business, and this is a really frustrating part, because I know that you've put on construction seminars and things like that, and I have, I have people in those industries and I'm like, maybe you should check these guys out, and they're like, nah.
I mean, one we've been pushing really, really hard because we use him and we feel like he could use you. But he was like, I'm already this big. What's he going to do to blah, 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 blah. And, and so we talk about this with him a lot.
It's like you say, you don't even know what your blind spots are.
You don't know what you don't know.
When you have that, you'll have that all shored up. And you can, if you see that target out there and it's going to take you some time to spool up and get there, you can just do it so much faster, and that's incredibly valuable. And
I've explained it because we've talked to a lot of people who are thinking about joining and trying to talk to them. For me, it's like, put the business in our business, right?
Yep.
And quite frankly, I think the thing that's been the hardest about opening up the second clinic was really realizing that we didn't have the real structure in place. We didn't have the layers of management in place. And would we have even known this before? I mean, no. Maybe, working our butts off and continuing, we one day would figure these things out, but it's all right there. And it's been really amazing to just continue to go through our org board and make all these shifts and changes and, with the SBU team to understand like how the business structure works.
Yeah,
because it's one thing to come up with a product and an idea and be able to kill it and crush it, and people like what you're doing, which that's where we were. But the whole business was on our back. And so then, like, how do you get to that next level? And I think there's just so much there that it's very challenging.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you think about some of the landmines you avoided, the partnership thing that we were able to get structure right and then get out of if it didn't work, and getting out of it. Expanding too soon to too many locations. It's like if people are by themselves, they're just making these decisions as they go along, and they either work or they don't. It doesn't. It's not that it doesn't always not work, right? But for you guys, you've been so disciplined, and now you have this very entrepreneurial. Now, you've moved from being chiropractors with a regenerative medicine business to true business owners, where you're looking at balance sheet, you're looking at financials, you're looking at your people equation, you're thinking of it from the business standpoint. You're mapping your markets and you're attacking market. That's how business owners think. And so I've seen you guys evolve. And there are some people in your peer group that are still clinicians. They haven't been able to evolve to the business owner side. And when you're out trying to explain this to business owners who are like, nah, I'm fine where I'm at, but then they, in the same breath, talk about how much struggle they have, or you're their client and you can see they're struggling.
Yeah.
And they don't want to admit it. I don't know what it is with business owners. I haven't been able to identify, other than they just don't, they're comfortable and they don't want to stretch outside of their own thinking, and they want to be in charge. Like, it doesn't make sense to me if there's an alternative opportunity, but you guys embraced it. You've been examples to everybody else in the group.
Well, thanks.
3 million to 6 million. There's no question. I believe next year you guys will do $8 to $9 million.
Agreed. We're like, I feel like we're just on this launch board. This year has been a lot of hard work. We just opened the clinic, and I just feel like next year is going to be massive.
Yeah. Very proud of you guys.
Thank you.
A big shout out to our friends at AMI, Mike and Colleen.
Absolutely.
Yay.
And they've been great partners for Grant and I, and they're great partners with you guys. And I'm so thrilled that we get to be partners with them and you.
Yeah, they created something really special with this integrated clinic model and how to help people integrate their clinics, and then you come in and help just take it beyond anything we could have dreamed of as far as the business expansion. So thank you too.
And what would you say to those chiropractor, regenerative medicine doctors out there that are not part of our ecosystem, that are struggling to make it work and not knowing how to double or triple the size of their business? What would you say to them?
Why?
What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
I mean, really, this is what I tell people. I'm like, it's a no-brainer. Like, you shouldn't think too hard about this. Like, if this is what you want, just it's like the next move.
I remember people thought we were crazy for the amount that we invested in ourselves for this.
Yeah, because you guys spent. If I go back and add it up, you probably spent $300,000 or $400,000 with me.
Yeah, and now we make that in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So it's like.
So let's do another trip to Cabo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we should do another trip to Cabo. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, you guys.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thanks, Brandon.
Appreciate you on a personal level and professional level. You're such a great example. And thank you, everybody, for joining me on another episode of the B. Dawson Show, where I feature business owners and entrepreneurs who are absolutely crushing it, thought leaders who want to win. Thanks for watching the show.